Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Tyler. Welcome back to the channel. Got some stuff to talk about today. But first of all, it's cold. It's so cold. It's been cold lately. I think it's like 35 degrees right now. That's cold to me. That's cold in St. George. And it's kind of funny because I've got this double chin, you know, this kind of neck roll, and I don't want to blame it on getting fat over the holidays. So I'll just say that it's my body evolving for the my body's evolving a chin skirt for my helmet to block the cold. Well, how you guys doing? It's been a little while for me. There's been a lot of messages coming my way asking me how I'm doing, what's the deal, how come I'm not posting so much recently, is everything okay? Everything's good. For the most part, everything's pretty good. But YouTube is basically killing my channel. I made a grave mistake a little while ago, and the YouTube gods have not smiled on that mistake. Basically, what I did is I had a pretty hot summer. I had some videos do pretty well in the summer. You know, relearning how to ride a motorcycle with Gabe, that was a big one. Death of the dual sport motorcycle was one of them. Anyway, I made a grave mistake. I promised I would make that Hawaii video for a friend, and then I released it and it's doing quite well. And then I got a message that there was kind of an embarrassing crash in that video, and I got a request to take that crash out and then repost the video. And I knew it would hurt the channel because when you repost a video, they never do well. But I made a promise, and so I did that. And I didn't want to embarrass anybody. So I took the crash out, re-released the Hawaii video, and it's sitting at just under 3,000 views, which is great. But at the same time, I was, averaging about 15,000 views, and 3,000 views is abysmal in comparison, And since I did that, my channel has not had a video with over like 6,000 views, I think. So it really, so YouTube's kind of decided to kill my channel because I had a low performing video after kind of a hot streak. And you know what? I'm actually totally okay with that. And here's why. Because I get, suddenly these videos aren't going out to thousands of people. Here's the honest truth. I was feeling kind of intimidated. I was feeling kind of intimidated by, this is where things get nuts. Oh, so nuts, the Black Widow couldn't take it. I was getting intimidated and worrying a lot about, channel growth. This isn't good. Don't want to dig a hole when I'm out here alone. Get on up, DRZ. So like, now I'm all foggy. So like, case in point, how long has it been since I've released a motovlog on the main channel? And now I'm feeling kind of free and liberated from the pressure. Basically, it's only subscribers that see this stuff. And not only that, but it's basically subscribers that know me. And so you know what? It's kind of liberating not to have an enormous audience. Some people would be like, wow, you've been YouTubing professionally for, like almost 7 years now, and you haven't even broke 100,000 subscribers. That's kind of pathetic. My perspective has kind of changed on the whole YouTube growth thing, you know what I mean? A genre like mine, with the dual sport stuff, it's just not going to be as hot as sport bikes or wheelies and supermotos and stuff like that, you know. And I'm aware of that, and I'm totally okay with it. As long as I can support my family, I don't really care what my audience size is. People ask me all the time, since you ride motorcycles all the time, has it stopped feeling like fun, and does it start feeling like work? And for a long time, I was like, no, riding motorcycles is always fun. And it is always fun. However, lately it has started to feel kind of like work. And it's because every time I go out and ride, it's like, okay, I gotta get this amazing cinematic footage. I gotta bring the drone, I gotta bring all this stuff. And there's pressure. It's pressure that I put on myself. But it is there. I'm getting into like somebody's backyard. This is like some backwoods stuff over here. A little sketchy. I don't know how I feel about getting in somebody's backyard. Well, actually, I feel fine about it. Let's see. This looks sandy. A river crossing in southern Utah. What is going on? Oh, and we have a fence. Okay, so I'm not in somebody's backyard. That's always good. Anyway, guys, riding motorcycles is always fun. It'll never not be fun to me, but sometimes it does feel like a little bit of work. That's not a bad thing. Especially where I've started to do the micro rallies and stuff. You know, suiting up to ride is part of my job. And it's always a fun part, but it is, you know, it does happen. Anyway, that's kind of where my head's at. My health is pretty good. I'm just getting over like a pretty bad cold cough thing. I've had that for like a month. And you guys, I'll be honest, like the motivation lately just hasn't been really there to make videos. I want to spend a lot more time with my family, but I'll be totally honest. I've been gaming a lot, and I'll qualify gaming as like one of my addictions. It's like my downfall. And I think I probably play games way too much. It's tough, you know, because like I get comfortable with things. I did a sponsored video for Rocky Mountain with the Battleborn gear, which really is great. I'm wearing it right now. And I'm nice and warm, but my neck roll is not. You know, I did a video like that. They're going to pay me a pretty good amount. Not tons, but a pretty good amount. And so I've just been slacking, and it was that... Whoa, that's a weird landscape thingy. It was that kind of realization when that happened that it was like, okay, is that how I am now? Do I not go out and ride? Do I not make videos if I make enough money for the month? Like, what? That's not good. That's not a good thing. On one hand, it is pretty awesome to be like, hey, I've done good. I don't necessarily need to like check into work, because as my wife will tell you, when I work like a dog. 10 to 15 hour days. I don't do anything else. I just put my head down and get to work. And it'll be from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I basically just edit. Anyway, I just haven't been motivated to do that lately. Part of it's the holidays. Part of it's, you know, the cool stuff that's been going on with family coming into town and whatnot. Part of it's been the micro rallies. Those have been really fun. Really fun. I've loved those. And part of it's just kind of been like a lack of like inspiration for, you know, what can I make a video about? And there's plenty to make videos about. I mean, I've got a queue of videos that I need to make, like, that's really long. Like, I've got to do the 450X review. I've got to do the boot review. I've got to do a comparison between some bikes. I've got, you know, it's not for a lack of content. It's a lack of focus and motivation. And a lot of gaming. Just, you know, I'll be honest, I need to need to figure that out. But anyway, that's what's kind of going on in my life. I'm working right now on revamping the website, eveRide.org. I'm just going to do that myself with the help of a cheap website editor, and we'll see what happens. Oh, here we go. Here's a hill climb directly into some sun, and we know how these end sometimes. If you follow my Instagram, you know what I mean. Ooh, a little off camber, a little rocky, a little bumpy. Where are we now? This is cool. Anyway, guys, yeah, it is liberating to have my channel die off a little bit. Feel like I can be myself a little bit more, be a little more real. I mean, obviously, it's been crazy. The last bunch of videos have been so cinematic. Sometimes, you know, the cinematic videos are amazing, and I actually love making them. I love editing those even. But it is a little bit nuts because there is that pressure, and sometimes the soul gets kind of sucked out of them a little bit, especially on a sponsored video. Like, I had a fun time making the Rocky Mountain video. The funny thing is like that's for one organization. It's not for an audience. It's, you know, it's to please an organization, and instead of pleasing my audience. And so that does kind of suck the fun out of it. And there have been times when it's like, you know, there's pressure to make a great video, and there's pressure to make money, you know, from Patreon to produce the video, but the ideas are just not there. It's just not flowing with me or something like that. You guys know how it is. I mean, everybody has off days or off weeks or off months, you know. Depression plays a factor in that, but my meds are helping quite a bit. Holy cow. This is looking like quite a hill climb. Where's that going to come out at? Oh, there's a... Wow, this is cool. All right, down the steep hill. Oh, directly into the rut. So anyway, guys, this is, you know, it's just kind of a raw update. It's what's going on. And I know a lot of people who are used to the cinematic stuff, who are maybe new to the channel, are going to be like, dude, you know, just like this or whatever, because they're not used to anything like this from me. But this is how I began, you know, just doing motovlogs, exploring exactly what I'm doing right now, and just being real. And what's funny is I think some of my biggest fans and my closest friends through motorcycling came from when my channel was like this, you know. Now that my channel's the way it is, it's a lot less personal. I don't answer a lot of comments, and that's on purpose. There's a reason behind that, and it's just my time, you know. I was spending 20 to 30 hours a week on comments. Now I spend about 15 to 20, holy yeah, this is steep, 15 to 20 hours a week responding to messages. This is not even a road, this is just a washout. Anyway, but mainly messages from patrons, and just discussion with patrons on Patreon. And so that, you know, I kind of shifted being customer support to 70,000 people to being customer support for about 300 people, which is a lot easier. And they pay for that perk, which is really nice. There's always this balance, you know. It's weird because my life is now a life on social media. My whole existence is like social media, and to be totally honest, I hate social media. I can't stand Facebook anymore. That makes me depressed. This whole idea of, you know, disconnecting from social media when that's my job, it's especially hard. I try to keep email at an absolute minimum. I try to keep all of my communications like as low as possible, just to avoid that total overload that I had earlier. with my channel and stuff. You know, it was just too much. And so to combat that, I kind of went totally the other way. I stay off of social media. The social media that you'll find me on most is Instagram, actually. I really like going through Instagram and just because Instagram's just pictures, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, they say that all social media is a lie because people are either posting the best thing that's ever happened to them or the worst thing that's ever happened to them. You know, Facebook has become, oh, today's terrible, political post, political post, political post, blah, blah, blah. So on Facebook, you either get the extreme, like people being negative or people being positive, you know, and I like the positivity. I don't care about seeing the best parts of people's lives. That makes me happy. What I don't like is all the negativity. So the positive stuff, I tend to see more of that on Instagram, so I stick around Instagram more. It's fun to just see their stuff, you know, their pictures of their adventures. I follow mostly motorcycle stuff and then close family friends and whatnot, and I really like that. Yeah, it is tricky. There's a tricky balance between having a job in social media and then being totally engrossed in social media for the rest of my time in my life as well. And so breaking away from that has been really weird because it's my job and I feel like I'm not doing my job well if I don't, I'm just gonna go up here. If I don't do social media, you know. But at the same time, it's been comforting to know that if I don't do a good job on that, then it's not a big, huge deal. If I'm not really active on the forums or on Facebook, you know what? Does that affect my bottom line? Like, could my audience grow bigger if I tried harder on YouTube or tried harder on Facebook or whatever? And the answer is definitely yes. I mean, I know a lot of tips and tricks. Daryl Eves has been really good at that stuff, teaching me that, and I follow a lot of really popular YouTubers on kind of a private Facebook level, and they share strategies and stuff like that. And you know, I know how to get millions of subscribers. That's not the thing. The thing is I want to balance my time versus work. You know what I mean? Where I was before was not a good balance. Where I was before was a lot of work for the sake of, you know, no return. And I feel like where I am now is in a good spot, but I do feel like the channel is like kind of dying. And I know that my patrons, you know, they're probably not going to want to be patrons forever. I don't expect them to be. I really would like to grow the micro rally thing, and so it becomes kind of my main source of income. And so that I can kind of shift that load from Patreon onto people who actually come out and ride and enjoy. The interesting thing is, it's all a funnel, right? And this is business stuff, and maybe people are turned off by talking about business or talking about strategy or whatever. But yeah, I like that stuff. You know, my undergrad is in behavioral science and business leadership. So people can probably, you know, haters will be like, oh yeah, you use that to manipulate an audience. You know, there's elements of psychology that are in videos and marketing and things like that, but it's not like I'm some kind of a evil hypnotist. It's like this, big funnel, and YouTube kind of pitches to the top of the funnel, and then you want people to kind of filter down the funnel, and obviously the bottom of the funnel are people who are patrons, people who buy shirts, people who attend micro rallies, stuff like that. So the top of the filter, when you combine Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, I reach about 500,000 people a month, which is a huge thing. You know, that's a number that I want to put towards sponsors if I even want to go for sponsors. So that's pretty good, especially in the dual sport niche. Moving down the funnel, there's my YouTube subscribers. There's about 75,000 of those, right? Somewhere around that. I don't really care anymore how many I have, but it's somewhere around 75,000. A little further down the funnel, you have Facebook, which is like, I don't know, 15,000 people or something like that. Then Instagram, which is about 15,000 people, and that's closer down the bottom of the funnel. And then closer down the bottom of the funnel is the Raw channel. You know, the Raw channel first, I think like 4,000 people. And then there's Patreon people who actually kind of help support the content, like PBS style. There's about 300 of those people, which are great, and I'm continually thanking them because that is my pretty much my sole source of income now, because Amazon and YouTube, you know, cut so much. You know, and then the very, very bottom of the funnel is people who come to the micro rallies. And so far there's been 10 of those people. And, you know, maybe it's just lip service and they're being nice, but all of them have said that it has been awesome and that they want to come back. I don't know if that's the truth. Sometimes people are nice just for the sake of being nice. You know, frankly, out here in the desert, to me, it's like, okay, this is my backyard. I love it. It's the best. But at the same time, like, you know, when you compare it to Moab, it's not as scenic, but it's way less crowded. When you compare it to Uray and the Alpine Loop, it's not as scenic, but it's way less crowded. And it's still, you know, it's still good scenery. I'm not in any scenic stuff right now. I'm just kind of cruising around the desert. But anyway, they loved it. So that's the very bottom of the funnel. And so really, that's the tricky part, the balance. Right now, recently I've been really focusing on the bottom of the funnel. And because that's where I get paid, obviously, with patrons and with people coming to micro rallies. And obviously priority number one right now is not let's have a YouTube channel. Priority number one is let's make sure my family is fed and we can pay the mortgage and all that stuff. The interesting thing is that if you don't take care of the top of the funnel, obviously the bottom of the funnel is gonna dry up. You know, because I don't expect people to be patrons for forever. And what's really tricky is when I stop focusing on any of the funnel, like I've kind of been doing lately, and I focus on something totally external, which doesn't help my family, and it doesn't help my business. It's just totally self-serving, which is gaming. You know what I mean? Man, there's this guilt. There's this huge guilt. It's like I'm a crack fiend. And it's like, man, I know I should get to work. I know I should go hang out with my kids. I know I should blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, no, I'm gonna turn on my game. I'm gonna play some computer games. So it's goofy like that, guys. It's goofy. Also, my riding's gone downhill. Also, my friends who I ride with, normally Craig and Garrett, I'm sure they're getting tired of inviting me and me saying, oh no, I can't. I mean, granted, I've been sick and busy for a long time, but oh man, you know, there's just that guilt. It's just that guilt, and it's tough because, like, when I don't have to go to a job and clock in, it's really easy to, you know, get to work on something, work on it for like 15 minutes, lose all of your drive and motivation to do that because you're not quite sure if it's a good project, if the patrons will like it, if the audience will like it, if it'll expand that funnel. And so, in the end, you just scrap it. In my mind, it's sometimes like, forget it. Let me go play a video game. And it's not a healthy way to think, especially, you know, if I don't work, I don't get paid. My next video is most likely going to be a brutally honest review about the micro rallies. You know what I mean? It's not all fun and games out here. There's been a lot of problems. There's been a lot of breakdowns. There's been burned clutches, flat tires, food poisoning. There's been crashes. There's been people too injured to ride. And that's only with 10 people coming out. So anyway, that's kind of the situation there. Gosh, this is so gorgeous up here. You know, this is not Moab, but Moab is 4 hours away. And this is just a hop, skip, and a jump from my house. And you know, it's not the most amazing thing, but it's not terrible either. I'm sure grateful for it. I come here often and just kind of meditate and think about things, but I haven't been here lately because going back to that whole thing, it's been a lot more about. That seems like it shifted a lot. It seems like it's a lot more about, I don't know, I give up on a lot of projects. Because the idea is, I don't know, it's like, is this good enough for my patrons? I don't think so. A thought that continually goes through my head is, you know, if I post this video and make it a paid post on Patreon, our patrons just gonna bail because it sucks. And so I drop a lot of videos. I spend a lot of time doing videos that get about half finished, and then I'm like, no, this is not good. And I think I'm my own worst critic, because some of my videos, you know, I try to have so much cinematic stuff in them, and it's got to have the drone shots, and it's got to have a great story, and the story has been more my problem lately. I've got lots of good footage, but you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to come up with something inspirational every week to say, especially when you're a little depressed or frustrated for some reason, or if the creative juices just aren't flowing. I love my life as a YouTuber. It's fantastic, but there are different and unique challenges. You know, they're all like first world problems. It's not even first world problems. It's like, I ride motorcycles for work. How hard could it be? Type of problems, you know. When you're trying to be creative, sometimes creativity just doesn't flow. There's like a writer's block. Sometimes it lasts for a lot longer than other times. And I tell you what, video games have not helped me on that front. So I just need to, I don't know, uninstall all my games and buckle down and get back to work. That's what it comes down to. Little revelation for myself there. Uninstall the games, delete them, and work. Anyway, guys, that has been a long vlog from me. If you stuck around, thank you so much for watching. It's been good to kind of have a discussion. Really much love, guys, and thank you for being part of this channel and for watching. So much love.